Never stop reading the Bible. Welcome. We're going to be focusing on the final chapters here, and they are dense. It's this incredibly powerful vision of judgment and ultimately redemption. You know, it's a prophetic story that has captivated people for centuries. And today, we're going to dive in and see exactly why. So, we've broken our journey down into 4 key parts. We'll kick things off with the story of the rejected shepherd. Then we'll see this incredible promise of the defended city. After that, we'll get into the real cost of salvation with the purified people and wrap it all up with the arrival of the coming king. All right, first up, the rejected shepherd. Now, this prophecy from chapter 11 uses this really powerful metaphor of a shepherd and a flock to talk about leadership and, well, what happens when it's rejected. So, the whole thing opens with a pretty grim picture, honestly. The people are totally vulnerable, described as a flock for slaughter. And here's the crazy part. It's not because of some outside enemy. No, it's their own leaders who are exploiting them without a second thought. Okay, let's really get into this. The main conflict is laid out with this super clear contrast. On one side, you've got these selfish shepherds, right? They only care about what they can get for themselves. But then, on the other side, God sends a good shepherd, someone whose entire mission is to actually care for this suffering flock. Now, this good shepherd, he comes with 2 symbolic staffs. The first one is called favor, and it's all about that special covenant, that unique bond between God and his people. The second staff, union, well, that one represents the harmony and unity that's supposed to exist among the people themselves. But, and this is the crucial turning point, despite this divine mission, despite the grace and unity he represents, the people, they reject him. They reject the good shepherd and his leadership. And that one act of rejection, it sets off this tragic domino effect. Boom, the staff named favor is broken, and with it, the covenant is shattered. Then, boom, the union staff is broken, and the people are thrown into chaos and conflict. In the end, they're left right back where they started, stuck with the same worthless leaders. Okay, so just when everything seems totally hopeless, the whole narrative just flips. We move from judgment to this incredible promise of divine victory in our next section, the defended city. Yeah, the tone just completely changes here. God basically declares that any nation that comes to attack Jerusalem is going to end up crushed. Think about that. The very attempt to destroy God's people will actually cause their own destruction. It's just such a powerful reversal of fortune. And what's amazing is how detailed this promise of defense is. God doesn't just promise some vague victory. He promises supernatural strength, complete victory over their enemies, and even special protection for the weakest among them. But here's the most important part. This isn't just about winning a battle. It all leads to a spiritual victory, with a spirit of prayer and repentance being poured out over everyone. So, this incredible victory, and the repentance that follows, it sets the stage perfectly for the next phase of the prophecy. And this next part, well, it's about a deep and honestly a pretty difficult process of purification. Yeah, this section makes it absolutely clear that restoration isn't some simple, easy fix. The path to salvation is described as a trial by fire. You can almost picture it, right? It's a process meant to burn away all the impurities and refine God's people, making them pure. So before this restoration can be complete, the land has to be cleansed. That means getting rid of all the idols, silencing all the false prophets. But then there's this really startling prophecy. It says the shepherd, the Messiah figure, will be struck down. And this event is absolutely central to the whole purification process. And this trial, it's described as being incredibly severe. So much so that only a remnant, just 1/3, will actually make it through. But that group, the ones who endure that refining fire, they will emerge as God's true, purified people. He will claim them as his very own. All of this intense purification leads us to the grand finale of Zechariah's prophecy. This is the moment everything has been building towards, the ultimate arrival of God's kingdom and the coming of his king. This whole final chapter is built around a really important idea, the day of the Lord. Now, this isn't just any 24-hour period. We're talking about a climactic future event that's got 2 sides to it. On one hand, you have devastating judgment for God's enemies. But on the other, you have this profound, incredible salvation for his people. And this day unfolds in this incredible world-altering sequence. First, Christ arrives. The Lord physically returns to earth. Right after that, enemies are judged. Anyone who attacked his people faces ruin. Then, the kingdom is established, a brand new kingdom of grace. And it all culminates in this final glorious state where all becomes holy and the world is restored. And get this, in this restored world, that line we draw between what's sacred and what's ordinary, it's just gone. It's completely erased. Everything, and I mean everything, from the most important things in the temple, right down to the bells on the horses or a regular cooking pot in someone's home, all of it becomes holy, set apart for the Lord. So when you step back and look at this whole ancient vision, this epic journey from a rejected shepherd to a triumphant king, from a people destined for slaughter to a world made completely holy, it really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? It leaves us with a big question. How does this ancient prophecy of judgment and redemption resonate with us today? This has been an explainer from the Center Studio.